Hey, everybody, and welcome in. It's the Poor Man Fantasy Football League podcast. I'm your I'm your host, Mike, and with me as always is my friend Andrew. We're the fantasy football show that gives you a peek inside the life and times of our dynasty league. Things are a little off kilter if you haven't noticed. Andrew has a new camera because he's using his phone because we're having some technical difficulties with Chrome. But we're going to be looking at the week one matchups in review, talking some trash because some stuff happened and it's not fun for me. It's happy for some people. It is Wednesday, September 11th. Condolences for all those that had family that were involved in the September 11th attacks. That was a
horrific day.
It was. Things that you'll never forget where you were when it happened. But we are going to talk about some football. And to do that, first things first, we're going to talk about some news. And I don't have a...
Oh, the news is a joke this week.
Yeah, the news is a joke this week. Mainly because we're going to laugh it off. Dak Prescott got paid. Congratulations. 5 minutes before game time. He got a massive contract, highest paid quarterback in the NFL for now. Good for him. It didn't really need to be tested because the Dallas Cowboys stomped all over their opponent, so he didn't have to throw the ball, which hurt me because I was counting on him to get me some points this week. We'll talk more about that later. Injury, though, yeah, there's some wild ones. The biggest one was CMC being held out Monday night. That hurt me. That hurt Andrew in the league. That hurt a lot of people because if you didn't have a pivot option in the last second, like Jordan Mason, who went off for those who had him but never played him, it sucked because it was a Monday night game. Who do you turn to?
Yeah, I was looking through your roster, and then I was looking through my roster on my other team, and neither one of us had anything.
Nope. This is why I want to own the handcuff. And I made a conscious choice this offseason. I did not believe in Jordan Mason. I was like, you know what? He was out there on waiver wires. I'm like, I'm not going to take a roster spot. I'm going to go grab somebody else who actually has a shot at doing something.
Yeah.
And it bit me in the butt. Little foreshadowing. I lost this week because Christian McCaffrey didn't play and just step onto the field because I just needed him to step onto the field. And I'm sure I would have beat you.
Yeah, I ended up winning my other matchup.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Without him?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
It was a lot closer than it would have been, but I figured, with him in the lineup, it was going to be a runaway.
Yep.
But I think with Mason's, the way Mason played, I don't know if McCaffrey goes this week either, because it's a short week. So yeah, I don't know if he plays this week. So
I'm banking on him not playing. That's how I'm going into the weekend. So other injuries to report, we've got Puka Nacua going on IR. He's going to miss the next 4 games with a knee injury. That sucks.
Jordan in 25 leagues.
Definitely for Donnie. Jordan Addison's got a knee injury. Roma Dunze's got a knee injury, but neither one of them seems to be significant and long-term. Quarterback Jordan Love has a terrible knee injury, at least when you look at it on the replay, but he's projected to be out 3 to 6 weeks. Russell Wilson's still having calf issues, so Justin Fields should get the start.
Okay.
Josh Allen is still going to play football, but his hand is hurting.
Oh, I didn't know about the Josh Allen one.
Yeah, apparently he hurt his hand. I don't remember it happening, but he's on the injury report.
Rumors going around, video stuff going around about Burrows.
Oh.
And flexing his throwing hand again, like he did right before he left for the rest of the season last year.
Oh, no. So keep an eye on Joe Burrow.
Yes. If you have him, watch throughout the week. He practiced today.
Yeah.
And the team is saying, oh, it's no big deal. He just flexes it to keep the ligaments loose. But if his wrist ligaments are tightening up on him and it's week 1, I'd keep an eye on that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking up here. I'm not seeing too much. So either they're keeping it hush-hush.
Well, there was some social media stuff that went out of pictures of him on the sidelines flexing his hand.
Okay. Wrist health, Bengals showdown with the Chiefs. All right. We'll see how that goes. Thanks for the heads up on that one.
Yeah.
Running backs. Mostert is out this week, so he's out. Devon Achane didn't practice, so keep an eye on that. That could be Jeff Wilson and their new guy they drafted. Kenneth Walker isn't practicing either. He's got some rib issues. And then tight end Jake Ferguson.
Yeah.
So those are the injuries to watch out for this week, folks. Oh, no fun.
Well, but it's early, and this happens every year. But it's some big names, like guys that are going out for a while, like with Puka Nacua going out. That's a big one. Josh Allen,
That could hurt.
Jordan Love. I mean, that for some guys, that could hurt their seasons if they're out any length of time.
I traded Caleb Williams for Jordan Love, Dalton Kincaid, and something else in a Superflex league. And I was like, oh, man, I'm going to make out like a bandit. And then when I saw what Jordan Love was doing, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to make out like a bandit indeed. This is going to be fantastic. And then this injury occurs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? So I dropped a significant amount of my fab in that league to pick up Malik Willis. Gross. Just because he is going to be the starter this week.
Yep. I'm attempting to pick him up in a couple of leagues. Just, you know what? Maybe he pans out.
Maybe. I'm not going to hold out hope for that one.
But I mean, if you're in a super flex league and he can get you 12 or 13 points as opposed to 8 off of a running back or 8 off of a wide receiver, right?
Well, here's hoping. Fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed. Malik Willis does something for us fantasy related for those that need him.
Yeah.
But may the Packers still lose. All right. Well, here's where we're going to get into some league talk. And I'm going to do this first because I think normally, do we usually do the sleeper report?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do the sleeper. The sleeper report. Sleeper report. Bump, ba bump. I really got to get a jingle for that one.
Yeah.
Here's where we're at. So we're going to have a look at the best manager, the worst manager, the narrowest victory, the highest score, and the lowest score, aka the poor man of the week. So our best manager this week is Bryce, who actually maxed out on points. That means he had his best roster set at 100%. He earned a total of 143.88 points. Congratulations.
Yes.
That also gives him the highest score of the week at 143.88. Congratulations, Bryce. Well done. The worst manager goes to previous champion Marvin, who left all his points on the bench because, as you probably well know as a fantasy football player, most of the mainstays in fantasy football didn't score big points this week.
No, it was surprisingly odd.
Yep. So 33 touchdowns were scored this week versus 50 plus in years past. So it was a down week one by comparison. So not a lot of touchdowns, not a lot of yards. It was rough. So unfortunately for Marvin, you did not get many points. Now, that did oddly put him into the category of narrowest victory because it was Josh and Marvin who went off, and there was only a difference of 5.88 points. So 85 to 79. That's pretty close.
Yes.
Now, if I'm looking back, how did I rate that matchup? I did not pick that matchup as the close one. I picked Bryson and Little Baby Sheepman. I picked that one to be a close matchup and it ended up being an absolute blowout.
Yeah, I think both of us thought that was going to be a close one.
Yeah, but unfortunately, our expectations for Little Baby Sheepman were, I guess, a bit delusional because here he is coming in last place and earning the title of Poor Man of the Week. And with that, we give you the sploosh. Gurgle, 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 gurgle. Gabriel, buddy, 76.12 points. Not a lot. That hurts.
Hey, in the No Fun League,
yeah,
I won and I only had 79 points.
Okay, Do you want to throw some shade here? Because have a look at what Gabriel did in No Fun League.
That's who I was going against.
What did he get? 56 points?
53.
53. Gabriel, what are you doing? You're having a rough start, man.
Yes.
Not only did you 53 points.
Yeah.
Ouch. Okay. Gabriel, I also want to point out that you were the poor man of the week last year, week 1. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it was a rough week 1 for everybody. Let me rewind that. Week 1 this year was better, though, than week 1 last year. Last year, the week 1 champion, the guy who earned the most points, was Chervin with 118, which is below our league average last year. So we all had some rough week 1s last year. So we're just figuring it out. We're everyone's like jockling for position on the field to who's going to be fantasy relevant. We're figuring it out. All right. Now let's talk about some waivers, because we did have waivers run for the first time.
Wait a minute.
What do we forget?
There has been must be an adjustment, because I'm on week 1.
Yeah.
Poor Man League.
Yeah.
Has Little Baby Sheep Man at 80.62 points.
What?
And it has Juan at 76.12.
Did I read it wrong?
You might have.
Label Baby Sheepman at 80.62 and Juan coming in at 76. That's weird, because we go off of the sleeper report, and the sleeper report threw Gabriel under the bus, and look at that. There is a change. So obviously I completely misread it, but I'm going to blame sleeper. And you know what, Gabriel? I take it all back. My sincere apologies. So I need to dunk on Juan here.
Gabriel would have actually beat Juan, and he would have beat Ice.
He would have beat Marvin. Yeah, look at that. So what the heck is going on now?
The sleeper report must be taking something else into consideration
that we missed out on. Okay, well, official retraction. Gabriel, you're good. We won't throw your name under the bus. But Juan, you just got sucked right in, buddy. You are the poor man of the week with 76.12 points. And I'm going to go and update our records and say Juan is in that position. Well, congratulations. You did better than last year, Gabriel.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for catching that, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
I feel bad. Let's talk about waivers. Waivers did run. 4 guys were picked up. Really interesting selection right off the top, but I'll do that. We'll save one for last. Bryce picked up Jacoby Brissett, dropping Aiden O'Connell.
Yep, makes sense.
Josh picked up Jeff Wilson ahead of this week's Miami matchup, because he could actually get some action, and dropping Russell Wilson. Not a bad choice. Marvin picked up wide receiver Tyler Johnson of the Los Angeles Rams, dropping $20, beating out 2 other bidders, and dropping Isaiah Williams from Detroit. Good call, because he's not going to see the field. And then the really surprising one was Bryce picked up Sam Darnold, dropping Jake Browning for $21, outbidding 2 other bidders. And I made a comment in the league. He replied, identifying he only has 1 quarterback, being Josh Allen. If Josh Allen is injured because of his hand injury, he can't play, then he is going to need a starting quarterback. And the only one currently available was Sam Darnold. I would also like to point out, Bryce, if you're listening, I have several quarterbacks on my roster. If you want to make a trade, I'm willing to facilitate one.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, maybe a Dak Prescott, maybe a Gardner Minshew, maybe. All right. Just putting it out there. So those are the waivers. Now we're going to talk about the results from last week's matchups. As you already know, I lost to Andrew. It was a close battle. I thought I had it in the bag. I was slaughtering you right out of the gate as soon as the Friday night game occurred. Right, you had your 3-player stack from Kansas City. My players from the Jordan Love Packers and the Jalen Hurts Eagles essentially wiped that slate clean. And then my players just went off the rest of the weekend. And then for some strange reason, your flex players balled out, keeping the game close. And I'm like, okay, here we go. This is going to be great. So end of Sunday night, I'm not getting the points I want completely from all of my Lions. I was hoping for a bit more passing action, but you know what? C'est la vie. It is what it is. I'm within striking distance. I need 11 points. Fairly confident CMC can get that for me. And then 5 minutes before game time, CMC is out. And I'm scrambling, which you notify. I didn't even know. You messaged me to say, hey, man, did you know the CMC is out? And I thought, oh, man, I literally thought you were joking, that you were trying to poke fun and just stir the pot and be a trash talker. And lo and behold, the bugger was out.
Yeah.
So wild. So congratulations on that victory.
Thank
Now,
you.
everybody picked me to win. You are the only one who picked you to win. Congratulations. We're gonna give you that. Where is that? We'll go this one. Well done.
Thank you.
Yep. Still going. Wow. I really like you. Yeah. The one that really did not surprise anyone was Slick beating Juan. Juan being the lowest scorer of the week, now that we know, and Slick actually having a really good team. We all got that one right. We all share that point. Matchup number 3, Donnie versus Chervin. Everybody picked Donnie.
Yeah.
No one was expecting Chervin, but unfortunately, Donnie's young dudes did not perform.
Well, and having, missing out on probably 15 points from Puka Nakua.
Yep. Makes the difference. It makes a difference.
It does.
So there's that. Nobody got points for that one. Matchup 4, Little Baby Sheepman, a.k.a. Gabriel, versus Bryce. Bryce earning the most points of the week, though, makes it rather difficult. Now, I chose Bryce. Donnie and Josh chose Bryce. Marvin and you, Andrew, chose Little Baby Sheepman. You gambled.
And you saw me. I had picked
Teetered.
Bryce originally, and I switched.
Yeah, you teetered. Yeah, I get it. You were hedging your bets and trying to find that dark horse, and so that we weren't going to end up with the same possible score.
Yeah.
All right, and then very last one, we all picked Marvin because when you look at Marvin's team, it looks fantastic. However, Josh showed up and said, "Nope, not going to happen. I'm going to stomp that right out of existence," and he did. He takes the victory, and we all missed. So here's how our weekly totals lined up. I went 2-3. Andrew, 2-3. Donnie went 2-3. Josh went 2-3. Marvin went 1-4. Ouch. We're not off to a great start. But hey, that's okay. We will figure this out and we will be cruising a couple weeks in.
Yep.
Now it comes down to this week's matchups. Week 2. I've already made my selections because I'm a bit of a keener and we had some time while you were doing some technical issues. So here we are. Matchup number 1, Mike versus Josh. Now I'm going to let you know, I threw a trade out to Josh to try and grab some Jordan Mason. As the CMC holder, I wanted Jordan Mason. He didn't bite. I don't think he's going to let him go. I think he's going to throw Jordan Mason literally in my face this week in our matchup to see what's going to happen. I still feel confident in my roster. And last week I did play Jared Goff over Dak Prescott, and I'm glad I did because I got more points. However, it wasn't a lot of points, and my other option was Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray would have been 1 point more than Jared Goff. So I feel like I'm still good to stick in the fire with Jared Goff. It's going to be against Tampa Bay. I'm hoping for a bit more of a higher scoring game with some passing action as opposed to just running. I swapped out CMC for Alvin Kamara. So I got Goff, Kamara, Gibbs, A.J. Brown, Michael Pittman, who's getting all the targets in the world, but can't get a good enough ball to catch because Anthony Richardson can't throw. So if anybody in the league is listening, I would like to buy a wide receiver. If somebody is selling a wide receiver, Bryce, maybe if you want one for a quarterback or have one for a quarterback, I am looking for a wide receiver. Okay. Sam Laporta didn't get engaged into the game, but I'm still holding out hope. That's good. Stephon Diggs is in my flex because the guy scored 2 touchdowns and seems to be involved in the system. I do have to play David Montgomery because my bench is now getting thin, and then James Conner because James Conner is just awesome. And I have some choices with like Devin Singletary, Cortland Sutton. I'm not sure I want to trust Adam Thielen. That looks like a dumpster fire of a team. And maybe Mike Williams in a week or two. Ooh, you know what? I got Brendan Cook sitting here. He caught a touchdown after 7 targets. That's not bad. Okay, well, I got some options here. On the other side, Josh has got Geno Smith, Brian Robinson, Jordan Mason, Cooper Kupp, Xavier Worthy, Dalton Kincaid, Drake London, Zay Flowers, and Zamir White. It's not bad.
But his bench is very, very thin.
Yeah, he's not trusting DeAndre Swift, so that was a swap out. No, he's not. He doesn't have. Oh, T. Higgins. That's the one that we got to worry about. What is his condition?
He'll be out.
You think he'll be out again this week? Oh, that sucks. Okay. Tyler Lockett. Oh, he's limited. He's got a thigh injury.
But he's got to make up 17 points on you. He doesn't have anybody on the bench that's gonna produce 17 more points than what he's got in his starters.
I think he's got a good lineup.
He does.
And I'm projected to do more than 17. I know I'm picking me because I believe in my team, and I also believe in all of the online soothsayers that put Josh at the bottom of the list by the end of the season. So I'm going. I'm using that internet voodoo to my favor. Yeah. So I'm going me. Who are you going with?
I've got you as well.
All right. Waiting to hear responses from Donnie, Josh, Marvin, and Gabriel. If you guys get those in before Thursday, we'll get them logged. Matchup number 2. You want to take this one?
Sure. Just got to open up their matchup.
Mm-hmm.
So Chervin's got he's rocking with Richardson. Again, that guy's going to be either bust or famine, or feast or famine.
Yeah.
He has got probably the biggest surprise of the year at running back with Barkley. If that guy has another game like that, he's getting comeback player of the year.
Saquon Barkley?
If he keeps that up, yes. What did he get? 30
when you play for a good team, man, good things will happen for you.
When you have a good offensive line, yeah. I'm sure he's loving it right now in Philadelphia as opposed to New York. He even has Pollard, who's looks to be starting off strong. Brandon Ayuk, how do you go wrong with that? Moore in Chicago.
Caleb Williams didn't throw the ball so good, so that's a sketchy. But you got to. Should be the best target there.
Yeah. Then you got Kyle Pitts as your tight end. That's going to come to fruition eventually. He's got Malik Neighbors, who's really the only offense there. Christian Kirk in Jacksonville. Again, you got Lawrence throwing to you, so that one's a little bit, I think you got Godwin from Tampa Bay, and it just seems like those two wide receivers, no matter what, they do well. It surprises me every week that him and Evans are still getting a ton of points.
Yep.
On his bench, you know what? I'd almost swap out Richardson for Baker Mayfield. But the problem is,
let me point out that Richardson scored 31 points in fantasy last week.
Oh.
Yeah, where Baker Mayfield also had a good week, but it was 37 points. And that was an amazing because he threw 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. But Baker Mayfield's going up against Detroit.
Which should be a tougher defense to throw against this year.
Yeah. He's also got Tua.
Yeah.
But they're going up against Buffalo, so it's going to be a little bit of a tougher matchup. But then when I look at the rest of his roster, Addison, running back from Vegas, no, probably not. That's his. Davis from Jacksonville. He's projected to get 821, but Joshua Palmer from the Chargers, but he's questionable. Williams from Detroit, but he's questionable as well.
Yeah, well, I also don't know how much I'm going to trust Jameson Williams on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah.
He had a blow-up game and he caught some big balls, which is fantastic, scoring that touchdown. And so to me, he's going to have that big play capability, but I don't know how often he's going to get that level of attention every game, right? So,
Exactly.
so to me, that's a desperate flex play if you want to try and score and hit big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going against Juan with, Juan's got Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry,
Yeah.
Chuba Hubbard,
Yeah.
Devontae Adams, Jalen Waddle. See, when you get, and Justin Ferguson, when you get through those, or Jake Ferguson, when you get through those guys, you're thinking, oh my God, Juan should be destroying them.
Chuba didn't do much.
No. Even his flex players like Tank Dell, pretty good. Jacoby Myers, pretty good.
Yeah, he's rocking both receivers from the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yes, and Gus Edwards,
who didn't get the job done where J.K. Dobbins did.
Yes, yeah. And then on his bench, you got Caleb Williams. Then he's got Taysom Hill, Daniel Jones. It's weird that they still have Taysom Hill up with the quarterbacks. Oh well.
Maybe they'll figure that out one day.
Yeah. Really, the only other one that Greg Dortch. That's the only player that I might swap in, but he's got a few guys that are like Sky Moore, 0.65.
That's almost like a drop.
Higgins or Hodgins projected.
Isaiah Hodgins, yeah,
projected to get 0.
Nothing.
DJ Chark projected to get 0, but he's
on IR.
Yeah. Zay Jones 0.
He's on suspension. Yeah.
Yeah. So his bench is really, really thin. The guy that's on IR, maybe throw him on your injury and pick up somebody, but
maybe.
For this one, I picked Chervin.
Yeah, to me, it's Chervin as well.
There's too much. Yes, it's only 8 points difference. A touchdown could sway it either way, or could sway it in Juan's favor. But his bench is too thin, I think. And unless Chuba Hubbard has a big game, it's going to be closer than I think. I think this will be the closest game this week.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the game that you're picking as the closest matchup.
Yeah, right. I think so.
All right. I'm just going to put a little star here to show which one you selected. Irvin. Amazing. All right. Matchup number 3. We got Donnie versus Slick. This is a close matchup, and I like it on paper. So Donnie is rocking Matt Stafford, Breece Hall, Rashad White, Brian Thomas Jr., Nico Collins, Evan Ingram, Javonte Williams. That's a dangerous pick. Bijan Robinson is now hiding down in the flex spot because it's a smart move. You put him in your flex, you have options to swap out if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
But Khalil Shakir, you've got him in a flex spot, Donnie. You want to put that up in a starting roster spot. So it's not an exciting roster. There's like Khalil Shakir, I'm nervous about. Javonte Williams, I'm nervous about. Everybody else, I can see some really good upside, but unfortunately, Donnie doesn't have great depth. He had a great starting lineup, which gave him a good run. Yeah. Okay. Other side, we've got Brock Purdy, Kyron Williams, Travis Etienne, CeeDee Lamb, Chris Olave. I'm almost feeling bad for Chris Olave because him and Carr just can't get it done together. Then we got Dallas Goedert, old man Keenan Allen. What the heck?
Yeah,
he was given a rest day on Wednesday because he's so old. Rashi Rice, which is going to turn out to be a steal of a deal. What was the story? He traded for Rashi Rice from Donnie for a second. That's actually not a bad deal looking back at it.
Yeah.
Lad McConkey, that kid's getting some targets. Good for him.
Yes.
And yeah, like that's looking pretty good. And he's got Najee Harris and Jalen Warren sitting in the background. Jermaine Burton didn't do anything.
He's got McLaren as well.
Terry
in the
McLaurin,
back. Yeah.
Darnell Mooney. He's got Rashid Shaheed. I'd almost play Rashid Shaheed over Chris Olave this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, knowing that he actually has a connection with. Oh, and Jaden Reed.
Reed.
Oh
Yeah.
man, Slick really does got some sweet depth, hey?
Yeah.
Oh, and Isaiah Likely.
Yeah.
Dang, yo. I got to go Slick on this one for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be. I know they got it 107 to 111. I would almost say like 107 to 120.
Yeah, I think Slick has a really good shot of scoring some massive points this week. Ooh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. I'd also like to point out that every matchup this week has a winner facing a loser.
Yes.
So we have no winners facing winners, no losers facing losers. It's all winners versus losers.
So realistically, everybody could be 1-1 at the end of the week.
They could be. That's interesting. No wonder our league is always so competitive by the end of the year.
Yeah.
The system just rigs it. All right. Bryce and Marvin, take it away.
We got Bryce having Josh Allen.
Yep.
Which we talked about. He's a little bit banged up there. HN.
Questionable, though.
Questionable as well. You got Cook. There in Buffalo.
James Cook, yeah.
Devonta Smith. George Pickens. George Kittle, which, again, he was kind of he was very quiet.
Game scripted out. He's not always in the game.
Exactly. He's got Debo. Jerome Ford, which is going to be all of Cleveland's offense because Deshaun Watson can't throw to save his life anymore. You got Jones in Minnesota. And then on his bench, Jacoby Brissett, Sam Darnold. What else does he got here that's of note? Charbonnet.
Zach Charbonnet could be something if Kenneth Walker is held out.
Can't go yet.
What about Calvin Ridley?
Yeah, that's a good possibility. He's also got Bobo.
Jake Bobo, yeah, because that's a guy who's going to see the field.
Jordan Addison. I mean, I know he's
out this. He's going to be out this week. He's got an ankle injury. He's going to miss for sure.
Especially against San Francisco. Yeah, I wouldn't put too much on him. Yeah, that's about it. The only other one maybe Noah Fant, but again, he's questionable. And he's going up against Joe Burrow, which again, keep your eyes open. Ice, keep your eyes open to see how that week goes. Jonathan Taylor, which is always a consistent one. J.K. Dobbins, you pointed out earlier, he kind of took over. Justin Jefferson, always. Wow, you know what? Against San Francisco, he might have an off game. But he'll probably still be about 10 or 11 points. DK Metcalf, Mark Andrews. Andrews didn't.
No, he got boxed out, man.
Yeah.
And it was the Isaiah Likely show.
Yeah. Garrett Wilson from the Jets there. He also did not have a huge game. What did he get last week?
Garrett Wilson?
Yeah, what did he get?
He got 9 points.
9 points, yeah. So he's below what he's projected to do. St. Brown. How did St. Brown do last week?
He was irrelevant because Jameson Williams got all the targets.
Okay. But they're playing Tampa Bay, which might be a little bit of a softer secondary. And Josh Jacobs, who I heard had a really big game.
He did because they utilized him as the only running back, but he only scored 10 fantasy points.
Oh, okay.
Right, so no touchdowns. Had he scored a touchdown, it would have been a bit different. So he was efficient with his touches and targets, but unfortunately now he's got Malik Willis.
Yeah. For options at quarterback, if if Burrows can go. Bryce Young and Will Levis.
Yee.
Yeah. Stevenson might be an option at running back or in a flex spot if he needs,
Mm-hmm.
especially against Seattle. Tank Bigsby, probably not. He's got a couple 0 and a .558. What's his next big guy?
Alan Lazard.
Well, that he had a big game, but it
That's
was
because our friend Aaron Rodgers knows Alan Lazard. That's why he threw to him so much.
yes. Johnson, maybe. You know what? I would probably go Lazard based on last week.
Yeah.
Especially against Tennessee, because Tennessee's a little bit of a weaker team.
But who do you take out to put Lazard in?
Let's take a look here.
Do you take out Jacobs? I don't think you take out Brown or Wilson or Metcalf or Jefferson.
You're right. Yeah.
It's tough.
I have Marvin winning anyway.
Do you? Okay.
Just based off of the strength of the team and then the strength of the bench in case something happens at practice.
He's got pivot options. I'm actually picking Bryce in this case.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Bryce's team and the matchups I think favor him. So we have our first variation, which is kind of cool. Haven't had that in a while. And then the last one is Andrew, that's you, versus Little Baby Sheepman, and I'm just going to pick you outright. Yeah. We can go into the roster, but I think your roster is pretty good considering you're playing Patrick Mahomes, Isaiah Pacheco, Joe Mixon, who had a great game, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, Travis Kelce, Ezekiel Elliott, Keon Coleman, who is looking to be the number one target, and then Zach Moss. I don't think you've got anybody that you could swap in that would be better.
Probably
especially in the situation that some of these players are in. And on the other side, you've got Lamar Jackson, Kenneth Walker, who might not play, Tajay Spears, who busted last week, like I said, and then Jamar Chase, Marvin Harrison, who wasn't even used, Brock Bowers, Amari Cooper, Rashad Bateman, Jackson Smith-Njigba. Bateman and Njigba are irrelevant right now. I don't know if they become relevant. They're just not being used by their teams.
Yeah.
And that's it. Romeo Dobbs. Yeah,
the only thing that I would consider might be Stroud over Mahomes.
Over his Lamar Jackson? Oh, might put... All right, you have CJ Stroud.
Yeah. Like that one's a coin toss for me between Mahomes, because Mahomes versus Cincinnati versus Stroud against Chicago.
That Chicago defense is proving to be elite.
Oh,
they won that game for a crappy Caleb Williams. I'm not sure you want to throw CJ Stroud into that.
Yeah. Didn't Chicago's defense get 2 touchdowns?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna leave it.
I think that's for the best.
Yeah.
So those are our current matchups, and when the other guys get their picks in, we'll add them to the list. We'll do a comparison and catch up next week.
Well, one of us will go 5-5, and the other will go 4-1.
That is a possibility. All right. Now it's time for this week's bet. All right. This week, Andrew, you won. You made the selection. We were going to go head up in our week-to-week matchup. I loved it. I thought it was going to be good. It turned out to be good for you, not for me. So now I have to come up with this week's bet. So here's what I've decided. Because it was a running back that made the difference, we are going to do a running back challenge. Okay? Here I have a little dice set. I have a D6. What we're going to do, it's going to be a minimum of 3. So if I roll a 1, 2, or 3, that's how many running backs we're going to have to select. If it's 4, 5, or 6, it'll be that many running backs we'll have to choose from. Okay. So here is the die. I guess you can't really see. It's 4. So we are doing 4 running backs. Delete row, delete. So what we're going to do is we're going to alternate. I'll go first, then you, then me, then you, then me. And because this is a bit of a surprise for you and you're going to need a little bit of time, what I'd like to do, with your permission, is look at the matchups one by one and then make our selections. You cool with that?
Sure. Let me just check. Why is this? There we go. Okay.
Are
Actually,
you
I'm ready to go. Period.
re-
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
I think so. So you can pick your first guy if you'd like.
I would like to pick my first guy, and my first guy is going to be Saquon Barkley.
Okay.
So I'm going to go Saquon Barkley. Your turn to select.
I'm going to take.
Good choices.
There are. I'm going to go Kyren Williams
Oh, interesting.
because they're going against the Cardinals.
Okay, Kyren Williams. I'm going to take Brees Hall then.
I'm going Jamari Gibbs.
You're taking my Gibbs? Well, I can't fault you for that. I think it's a good choice. And I'm somewhat torn here.
This is where it gets a little bit more tough.
Yeah, because
there's still lots of good guys.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I don't like the matchups.
Yeah,
Robinson against Philadelphia. I don't think you get 16 points.
You mean Bijan?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bijan against Eagles. That's tough. That's a tough defense. Joe Mixon versus the Bears is tough. Isaiah Pacheco might be okay. I don't want anybody from the Steelers or Broncos. James Conner versus the Rams. Well, we just saw Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery run all over him, so James Conner might be okay. Brian Robinson for the Commanders over the Giants. Tony Pollard or Brees for the Jets. We've got Ramondre Stevenson, who had an okay game against nobody on the other side of the Seahawks. I'm not picking anybody from the Vikings. Jordan Mason, maybe from San Fran. Travis Etienne, Jerome Ford. We got Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, Rashad White, Alvin Kamara versus the Cowboys. It's the Cowboys, though. That defense is tough. I wanted to pick a running back that was going to play the Panthers, but there I'm looking at, like, do I take J.K. Dobbins? Like, I'm not sure I want to go J.K. Dobbins over like a Bijan or a Jonathan Taylor and then I'm sitting here looking, oh, the Ravens are playing the Raiders. Oh, wait, the Raiders have a really good defense. Is Derrick Henry going to have what it takes to plow through and bring that rock home? Well, here's what I know. I know the 49ers will run ramshot over the Vikings, so I'm going to take Jordan Mason.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gambling on the previous production that if they take the lead, right, they're not going to continue to pass. They'll just run the ball over a team that's going to get the snot beat out of them.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm going to take Pacheco.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's a good matchup.
Because Cincinnati really, and I hate to say it, but they did not look really good last week.
No, they lost to a team they were supposed to not supposed to lose to.
A team that was supposed to be dead last.
Yep. Did Jonathan Taylor do? Do we know? How did he score? He's a good running back. Not good. Oh, that's gross. So him and Anthony Richardson are not working well together. That sucks. Okay.
I found my dark horse.
Found your dark horse?
Yeah. I don't like the guy, but I like the matchup.
I want a guy who gets a lot of touches. That's what I want. That's what I want. What's that song? Money? Tough choices, man. It's tough choices. Yeah, I'm not sure I want to go Alvin Kamara. Devon Achane would be the selection, but I doubt he plays. And he didn't even get enough. Oh, man, where do I go from here? You know what? I'm gonna go wild. I'm gonna pick Ramondre Stevenson.
I just looked at that one too. Whoa.
Yeah,
I really like that
guy. I copy and pasted, and it's like, wow. Yeah, well, you got a lot of touches.
Horse, yeah.
All right, go ahead, man. Who do you got?
My dark horse going against the useless Jacksonville Jaguars defense, Jerome Ford.
Oh, that's not bad. He did okay.
Yeah. And because they can't seem to throw the ball right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he had 3 receptions on 4 targets last week. So they're throwing the ball to him too. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so I got Saquon Barkley, Brees Hall, Jordan Mason, and Ramondre Stevenson. You've got Kyren Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, Isaiah Pacheco, and Jerome Ford. It's a good matchup.
It is.
We should see I look forward to seeing how that plays out.
Yeah, no, I thought about, you know what? Do I shoot my shot and put McCaffrey in just in case he starts.
Just in case, but willing to take the 0 if he doesn't.
Yeah. I thought
That's
about
tough.
it. And then the other one I thought about, and it's a guy I can't stand, James Conner against the Rams.
You know what? He was in consideration for me, knowing that they're going to be a good team offensively.
Yeah.
The Cardinals might utilize him, but if they get behind, then he's not going to be effective. So I tried to think of teams that either overutilize the running back and are in good matchups. So I'm like, oh, hey, Joe Mixon got 30 touches. Yeah, but he's going to go against a defense that's really good against that. So, like, maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my thought process. Cool.
Yeah, I was looking more at the matchups, and that's why I didn't touch Robinson. Bijan.
Yeah, against the Eagles?
Yeah.
Yeah, not yet.
Because he's not going to get 4 passes, and I somehow doubt he's going to get he might get a touchdown, but I don't know if he gets 75 yards.
Be tough.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to this week's matchups. I look forward to our bet and evening the score.
Well, if you go down 0-2,
Ooh, man, I'm going to feel the pressure. I am.
You may have to bring out the wheel of death if you.
Oh no, that thing was torture for me last year. You dominated with the wheel of death. I hate that thing. I'm not playing the wheel of death. No way. All right, that's it for this week's show, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in, joining, and partaking in this with us. On one note before we go, as I do want to pay respects to a great actor, University of Michigan alumni, that being James Earl Jones. He has had a significant impact in the movie and animation and voiceover, everything world. A lot of love and respect. He's been a big fan for a long time. Just a cool dude. Loved his movies, not just Star Wars related, but everything. Just a cool dude. Sandlot, right? If you guys, who doesn't love the Sandlot? I loved him in
Lion King.
Lion King. Wow, he was just that his voice is just iconic.
Yeah.
So that's kind of hard not. But he had an interesting role as the Coming to America, as Eddie Murphy's dad. Just a quirky old man, right? The king. Yeah, good stuff. All right. Well, remember, you can follow us on all of your social media platforms. Twitter, now known as X, TikTok, Facebook, Poor Man Football, all one word. You can give us a like, a share, tell your friends, tell your family. Yeah, come on out. Enjoy the show with us. From one poor man to another. Remember, if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. Good night, everybody.
Have a great week, everybody.